Alrighty, first things first. Can't tell if the voice has gotten any better or not, but sports go on, so we got to move on as well. First, I want to give my initial thoughts to the Clippers and Bucks game that just finished up about, I'd say, hour and 20 minutes ago. I watched the entire second half of that game. I know the first half I had a few things going on, but that entire second half, um, Bucks looked great, and they were without Giannis tonight. It was a going into the game, I thought it was gonna be a Clippers W and a Clippers W single-handedly. I thought the Clippers would lead the entire time. But about midway through that third quarter, um, Bucks started getting some stops on defense. They started hitting some jumpers, and then they made it an 8-point game going into the fourth quarter. And then things just made a switch, and this Bucks defense just completely put some lockdown defense on this Clippers offense. I mean, Kawhi Leonard couldn't hit a shot. Paul George just disappeared. James Harden didn't know what to do. He only hit one or two threes or made a few plays here and there. But I mean, that was just about it. I mean, and then Bucks just were hitting shots. Damian Lillard was spectacular tonight. 41 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 12 for 22 from the field, 13 for 13 from the free throw line, and 4 for 9 from the 3-point line. So, and Bobby Portis, I mean, those final 4 minutes or so, he was feeling it, and he was feeling it so much that he was isoing ball with Kawhi Leonard at the elbow line and was hitting some jumpers on Kawhi Leonard. I know that that's when Bobby's doing that against Kawhi Leonard, he's feeling it, and Bucks are feeling it. So I mean, he had 28 points, 16 rebounds, 2 assists, 12 for 18 from the field, 2 for 4 from three, and Patrick Beverly had some great defense, 12 points, 9 rebounds, 3 for 7 from the 3-point line, hit two big 3-point shots in that fourth quarter. And it was interesting to see because this was like the first time I was like, okay, the Bucks the Bucks can do something here. The Bucks, this team isn't, wait until off season like I thought they were. No, this team is here. This team can compete and can win some games and win some playoff series. And I have to tell you, I think the Bucks have an actual chance now to beat the Boston Celtics in a 7-game series. And I know it's just one game. I know I'm a Bucks homer, but I don't know, just something about tonight without Giannis, without Middleton, Dame is kind of starting to pick some things up. He's starting to become more consistent offensively, starting to, find his groove in the game. The defense has picked up quite a bit in that fourth quarter. Clippers only had 25 points. And if you go back the past few games for the Bucks, the amount of points that they're giving up, I mean, they've given up 100-point games, but I mean, not that many. And they've given up a few, I know 140 ball games at the beginning of the year and stuff like that. But I mean, these past, since the All-Star break, they're 6-0, by the way, but against the Bulls, gave them 97 points. Hornets, 99 points. I know they've owned the Hornets. I mean, the previous game they played the Hornets as well, and they gave them only 85 points. But then the 76ers, 98 points. I know there's no Joel Embiid. Coming out of the All-Star break, they only gave up 170 points to the Timberwolves, who were the first place team in the West at that point. So Doc Rivers says I have to give him credit. He's gotten this defense back on track a little bit. Um, and this team could actually play some defense now. And to go against the Boston Celtics, you're gonna have to play some defense. Did you see what just happened against Golden State and the Boston Celtics? 50 ball. I mean, this Boston team can just light the field when they're hitting their shots and hitting their 3 points, their 3-pointers. So um Boston is still heavily the favorite come out of the East, but I truly think that the Bucks have a chance to win now. I couldn't say that going into the All-Star break. Um, even during the All-Star break, I didn't think they could figure it out. I didn't think Middleton hasn't been what he normally was before those injuries. So I still think they need to move on from Middleton in the offseason. I think that's kind of what's going to be the thing that kind of separates them from the Celtics. And, Boston's got Tatum, Brown, Porzingis, who was a great third option. Drew Holiday could be a third option. Derek White, who could be a third option on any given night too. I mean, they have three guys that could be a third option. And for the Bucks, it's really just Giannis, Dame. It should be Middleton, but I just don't think it can be Middleton. And I guess Bobby or Brooke, but it's just like there's no legit third option that the Celtics have. They have three third options that can do it on any given night. The Bucks don't even really have it should be Middleton, but it's not really Middleton. I mean, that's the problem right there. So I do think the Bucks can beat any other team in the Eastern Conference, but I do think the Celtics, as of right now, what is it, March 4th, as of right now, March 4th, I do think that the Bucks can get to the Eastern Conference Finals, beat every other team, but I still think the Celtics, as of right now, um, hold supremacy over the East. But moving over to things to the Clippers, it was not a good night for them at all. I mean, they have had some struggles with blowing some leads in the fourth quarters here and there. And I think the biggest reason why is because down the stretch, they just don't know who to go to if Kawhi's not hitting the shots. If Kawhi Leonard's not hitting any of his mid-range shots or any of his three-point shots, it's looking pretty spooky because they didn't really even go to Paul George. And Paul George had 29 points, 10 for 17 from the field, 6 for 10 from three. And they didn't even really go to him in those final 3 to 4 minute stretches of the fourth quarter. And, you know, James Harden had a pretty good night too. He had 29 points, 4 rebounds, 8 assists, 9 for 16 from the field, 5 for 10 from the 3-point line too. So James Harden came to play, and even down the stretch, it seemed like he disappeared. And I think the biggest problem with the Celtics team is if Kawhi is not hitting his shots late in the game, they really don't know where else to go with the ball. And I know Westbrook's out. They might try to get him back. Excuse me, try to get him back going into the playoffs. Sometime second round, maybe conference finals ish. But I thought the Clippers. I said in the previous video, I thought the Clippers would be the biggest threat to the Nuggets. I still feel that is the way. I feel the same way that they are the biggest threat. But I just when things get tight, they start to lose some leads. It becomes a 3-4 point game. The final 2 minutes, if Kawhi's not hitting his shots, and he's not even a finisher or a clutch scorer, go get you a bucket type of player like Damian Lillard is, like in the Bucks. And Dame was hitting some clutch buckets towards the end of the game, which is why the Bucks were able to weed out that game and win that game. So um I still think the Clippers have a chance, but with the Nuggets team, I mean, I think that Nuggets team's just coasting. They're just waiting to the playoffs. I mean, the other day they were kind of coasting against the Lakers, and it's always been tight with the Lakers, but they always just pull it out, and they always know um, what to do late in games. And I think personally, I think the Nuggets have more of a lock to get to the finals than the Celtics do, even though the West is a lot deeper and a lot better of a conference than the East is. And the reason for that is because the Nuggets have a specific identity that they can lean on game after game after game. They know what their star players are with Jokic and Murray. They know how to get the ball to them. Porter knows what his role is, being a 3-point shooter and getting buckets. Aaron Gordon knows his role of being aggressive, on the boards, guarding the best scorer on the other team. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope shooting 3-point shots and protecting on the perimeter for defense. So and Michael Malone's a great coach as well. So I do think the Nuggets have a more of a lock to get to the finals than the Celtics do. And that is just because of this emergence of this Bucks team. It's only been 6 games, but in those 6 games, the Bucks have looked great. Haven't had Middleton. They didn't have Giannis tonight. I know the Clippers are on a back-to-back, but plenty of teams are on back-to-backs and they still pull out, find ways to win games, especially when the best player's out, like Giannis was. So, yeah, I think that's kind of how I'm feeling right now. I don't know how to feel about this Bucks team. I mean, that's the first game right there. on that TV. That's the first game this entire season where I felt okay, the Bucks can actually do some damage. I know they've had the record, they've been second, third place throughout the entire season, but um this game tonight was the first game that I felt like the Bucks can actually do some damage. Um Guess we'll have to wait and see. Maybe in a week from now they'll be 0-6 or lose their next 6 games and I'll feel completely different. But I'm saying there's a chance with the Bucks. I'm saying there's a chance with the Bucks. College basketball wraps up next few weeks. Brackets gonna get made, brackets gonna get busted. I'll have my bracket, locked and loaded and ready to share with everyone. So stay tuned.